Top of the evening and welcome to the news here on IETV. On top of yours on IETVTT.com, I'm Kevin Maharaj. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessor returns to Trinidad and Tobago following Shields of the Americas Summit. An unidentified man was struck and killed on the Beetham Highway this morning. And the Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, questions how to protect at-risk youths at Vulnerable Youth Seminar. In our top story, Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessor has returned to Trinidad and Tobago after representing the country at the Shields of the Americas Summit in the United States. Here's Michael Dewey with more.
The summit brought together regional leaders to discuss security cooperation and strategic partnerships across the Americas as governments continue efforts to address shared security concerns. Before leaving the United States, the Prime Minister paid a courtesy visit to the Consulate General of Trinidad and Tobago in Miami, where she met with staff and thanked them for their work supporting nationals abroad and strengthening diplomatic and community ties throughout South Florida. Officials noted that the consulate plays an important role in assisting the Trinidad and Tobago diaspora and promoting the country's interests internationally. Prime Minister Persaud-Bissessor later returned home, where she was welcomed at the airport by Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jerlene John, along with several cabinet ministers.
Police are trying to identify the man who was struck and killed while crossing the Beetham Highway this morning. According to investigators, the driver of a Nissan Note was traveling east along the highway near Bagwan Singh's Hardware around 7:45 a.m. when the vehicle collided with a man as he attempted to cross the roadway. The victim died at the scene and was found without any form of identification. Officers from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, including personnel from the Besson Street Police Station and Transit Police, visited the scene as investigations continue. Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander posed a pressing question at the opening of the ministry's Vulnerable Youth Seminar. The seminar, described as a multi-sectoral integrated approach, aims to address the challenges facing at-risk youths in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Alexander emphasized the importance of collaboration among government, community groups and other stakeholders to protect vulnerable young people and provide positive alternatives for crime and exploitation.
How do we move away the youth from the 3 Gs? You know the 3 Gs? Guns, girls, and gold. How do we move them away from that? What could you say to them that will move them away from that? Do you have money to give them free? What you as a parent have done to change the mindset? Did you give your children the foundation that is necessary? That no street, no gold, no girls, no gun could influence them otherwise. And let them know that they are wasting their time to influence you. I'm an adult male, and to date, I never took one drink of alcohol. I'm an adult male and never one day placed anything close to a cigarette by my lips.
We pause for a moment. More news when we come back.
From the freshness of the ocean, Rainbow has sealed in all the natural, healthy goodness in their canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel. So go ahead, enjoy some crispy sardines, stewed mackerel, or a creamy tuna salad. Because while your tummy enjoys the great taste, your heart and immunity will love the healthy omega-3s, calcium, protein, and more. Rainbow's canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel are 100% real fish. So it's tasty, healthy eating for your body, heart, and mind. Rainbow canned fish.
Tile Expressions Limited, as one of the largest importers of tiles, offers an extensive range of high-quality tiles in ceramic, porcelain, granite, stone, and mosaic options. Additionally, we offer a variety of tile accessories and bathroom sets to complement any decor style. We are committed to providing exceptional customer service and swift delivery of all products. From indoor and outdoor tiles to bathroom sets and tile accessories, we have curated a range that caters to both traditional and modern taste. Lampus 13, Ajudha Road, Munro Road, Canopio. Call 223-8453.
And welcome back. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin has congratulated Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessor on her visit to the United States and her meeting with President Donald Trump. Minister Amin said the engagement marked the first time in more than 3 decades that a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago had been invited to meet with a sitting U.S. President, describing it as a significant milestone in relations between the two countries and another historic moment under Mrs. Persad-Bissessor's leadership.
History has been created, and this meeting signals renewed respect for Trinidad and Tobago on the international stage. It demonstrates the value of strong leadership and diplomacy. The discussions that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessor would have had with President Trump have the potential to really unlock meaningful opportunities for the country. These strengthened relationships with the U.S. can lead to new avenues for investment, and out of that increased revenue and job creation that will support economic growth across the nation. And, these opportunities can really bring real benefits to our communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Increased investment benefit local government because you will have economic activity that will support infrastructural development and strengthen local government services, and of course stimulate local economy. And that is what supports families, small families and small businesses. So when we have these international partnerships that are built at the highest level, they really create pathways for development that reach every corner of the country, including, and very importantly, rural communities in Trinidad as well as in Tobago that depend on strong infrastructure and local economic activity.
The reopening of the central block at the Port of Spain General Hospital has been delayed again and will not be completed by the previous scheduled March 31st deadline. Here's Micah Dume with more.
The update was confirmed by the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, which said the new completion timeline for the $1.3 billion 540-bed hospital project is now June 30th, 2026. UDCOT reported that builders' works are more than 95% complete, but several issues contributed to the delay. These include delayed payments, workmanship problems that required corrective work, and global supply chain challenges affecting the delivery of materials. The corporation also noted technical setbacks, including leaks discovered in the building's piping network, delays in HVAC system components from China, and damage to the electrical bus duct system after a broken pipeline caused water to enter the power distribution network earlier this year. Additional delays were also linked to the verification of the medical gas system after 2 improved inspectors declined travel to Trinidad and Tobago during the current state of emergency. A new certified verifier arrived on March 1st and inspections are now underway. Despite the setbacks, UDCOT said installation of medical equipment, furniture and ICT systems has begun, while commissioning of mechanical and electrical systems continues and training of hospital staff is already in progress. The Central Block project, approved in 2017, has faced multiple challenges over the years, including the 2018 earthquake and the COVID-19 pandemic.
A tense exchange erupted during a joint select committee sitting on Monday as members examined the state's procurement and payment process for pharmaceuticals. The committee is investigating the previous government's acquisition of pharmaceuticals, including procedures governing their importation approval and payment. The heated moment occurred between Works and Infrastructure Minister Jillian John and Opposition Senator Janelle John Bates during the March 9 sitting. Minister John was questioning executives from the National Insurance Property Development Company Limited, which manages procurement and supply arrangements for pharmaceuticals, that is, on behalf of the Ministry of Health.
NIPDEC, you represent several ministries and probably agencies in your business. You act as project manager, am I correct?
Correct.
How long are you still with NIPDEC? Are you still working there, Mr.
Yes.
Kuzia? Okay, how long have you worked there?
10 years.
10 years. Is it your experience that ministers sit down and direct how payments are allocated?
No.
So this was a novel approach? No, please, let me ask my question. You can ask your questions after, madam.
I'm sorry.
You can ask your questions after.
But that is not the evidence, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
The evidence was never that the minister directed. The evidence, Mr. Chair, through you, was that he received the emails from the permanent secretary. So I would just like that the witness be asked questions as per the evidence.
Madam, with the greatest respect, you can ask me, tell me what to ask. You can ask what you wish to ask.
The witness.
You can feel very free to ask whatever you want to ask,
serious
okay?
Allegation
okay? You could ask, you're here as an equal member. There's no greater or smaller. You could ask whatever you want to ask. Don't interrupt me, please.
Let's not quarrel about that.
I'm not quarreling.
Minister, ask your question.
Please. You ask a question when the time comes.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I ask again. Based on your 10 years of experience spanning several administrations, is it normal for a minister to sit and direct how payments are made to suppliers, to specific suppliers?
No.
Thank you.
Police have launched a homicide investigation after a charred and bound body of a man was discovered on agricultural land in Couva on Tuesday morning. The body was found around 11:20 a.m. along Exchange Estate No. 1 Connector Road in the MacBean area after a man and a companion visited the property with a real estate agent and made the grim discovery. Investigators said the victim was found lying on his back with his hands tied behind him and the body had been set on fire. Officers from the Couva police station secured the scene while the district medical officer ordered the remains removed to the Forensic Sciences Center in Federation Park for a post-mortem examination. Crime scene investigators also recovered 3 9mm spent shell casings at the scene as investigations continue. Police are appealing to the public for information that could assist in identifying the victim. You're watching IETV News. We'll return after these messages.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate free, all purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
Welcome back. The government is moving to place the laws of Trinidad and Tobago in an official digital format alongside the traditional printed version. The change is expected to save taxpayers millions currently spent printing the country's legal volumes overseas. Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein outlined the initiative in the Senate while piloting the Law Revision Amendment Bill 2026. The legislation received unanimous support from the government, opposition and independent senators and will allow the country's law to be made available online as official versions similar to the printed Red Book volumes currently recognized in law.
The courts sit online. Everyone views the Parliament channel online. You can find acts of Parliament on the Parliament website. You can find bills on the Parliament website. Why can't we find the official versions of the law online? And that is what we are doing here today, Mr. President. We are just going to make the laws of Trinidad and Tobago be made available online as official versions of the law. Mr. President, I could say that and take my seat, and I know I can get the support of this House. Currently, all of us, Mr. President, we go online, we download the versions of the law that are available online, but Mr. President, they are not the official versions of the law. These binders are expensive. The paper is expensive. And Mr. President, when I went into the Law Revision Commission, I asked them, I started to inquire about this particular process. We make our laws locally. The Parliament This is the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But do you know our laws are printed abroad? Our laws are not printed locally. Our laws are printed abroad.
Let's now take a look at some international news.
President Trump says the war with Iran will be over very soon, even as Iran continues to target Gulf nations and Israel.
In fact, here are the latest developments. President Donald Trump claims that the war with Iran is wrapping up soon, while saying that it would be short-term excursion. But he also insisted that the offensive would continue until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. Trump said, and I quote, "We have already won in many areas, but we have not won enough."
We took a little excursion because we felt we had to do that to get rid of some evil. And I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion.
President Trump also doubled down on his threat to strike Iran with unprecedented force if it stops the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Trump, writing on Truth Social, warned that Iran will be hit 20 times harder if it does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Trump added that death, fire, and fury will rain upon Iran before expressing hope that it does not happen.
Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says that it will determine the end of the war, and this is after President Trump said that the conflict would end soon. The IRGC statement says it is we who will determine the end of the war. The equations and further status of the region are now in the hands of our armed forces. American forces will not end the war. In fact, the IRGC also says that Tehran will not allow 1 liter of oil to be exported from the region if US and Israeli attacks continue.
Meanwhile, Bahrain has said that the latest Iranian attack on a residential area in the capital, Manama, has killed 1 person and injured others. Its interior ministry said that initial reports indicate 1 person died and others were injured in a blatant Iranian attack targeting a residential building in the capital.
UAE says that its consulate general in Iraqi Kurdistan was targeted in a drone attack, which left damage but no casualties. A foreign ministry statement called the statement a dangerous escalation and a threat to regional security and stability. The statement, however, did not say where the drone had been launched from.
On the other hand, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian spoke by phone with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan after an incoming Iranian missile was intercepted in Turkey's airspace. Now, NATO said it shot down the missile fired from Iran, prompting a stern warning from Turkey to Tehran not to take provocative steps. The missile was the second fired from Iran to be shot down in Turkish airspace in 5 days.
Additionally, Israeli military says that it destroyed a launcher in Lebanon, that is just 10 minutes after it was fired at northern Israel. Hezbollah has launched a barrage of missiles at Israel in what is called its deepest attack since hostilities intensified last week, wounding 16 people. Also, the toll from the Israeli strikes on Lebanon has now risen to 486.
Israel's legal system is bracing for a major confrontation as the country's Attorney General is reportedly preparing to formally oppose a pardon for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Reports suggest that the Attorney General, Gali Baharav Miara, will submit her position to the Justice Ministry in the coming days, likely determining that the request fails to meet the necessary legal criteria. Her position is expected to highlight that granting a pardon at this stage would improperly halt the Prime Minister's ongoing criminal trial. The authority to handle the file has been transferred to another minister, this in order to avoid conflict of interest due to the Justice Minister Yariv Levin's close ties to Netanyahu. The minister will forward the recommendation to President Isaac Herzog for a final decision after the Attorney General and the Pardons Department finalize their opinions. The Pardons Department is currently unlikely to support the bid. However, if Netanyahu revises his request to include an admission of guilt or a willingness to face consequences, the opinion might change. Netanyahu had submitted his request for pardon from the president in November last year to end his 5-year-long corruption trial. The request aims to drop charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in 3 separate cases. While US President Donald Trump has reiterated his call for Herzog to grant the pardon, members of Netanyahu's coalition accuse the Attorney General of deliberately delaying the process, even as President Herzog has the legal power to grant the pardon against official recommendations. Legal experts warn such a move would likely face a challenge in the High Court and spark intense public criticism.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the United States has proposed another round of Russia-Ukraine talks next week, even as the war in West Asia rages on. In the latest attack, Russian drones struck the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, killing 2 people and wounding 7 more. According to the local governor, the attack targeted Shevchenkivsky district, setting a civilian enterprise on fire. Ukraine confirmed that its military carried out a missile strike on a Russian defense facility in Bryansk. President Zelensky said the operation targeted a plant responsible for producing control systems and electronics used in Russian missiles. Bryansk Governor Alexander Boguhmaz reported that 6 civilians were killed and 37 injured in the strike.
Our warriors struck one of the key Russian military plants in Bryansk. This plant produced electronics and components for Russian missile, those that strike our cities, our villages and civilians. We defend ourselves. Russia has long had the ability to end this war, the war it started itself.
Meanwhile, Russia carried out strikes in the eastern Ukrainian city of Sloviansk. 4 people were killed and 16 wounded, including a 14-year-old girl, after 3 guided bombs hit residential areas. The National Police of Ukraine released a video showing a destroyed residential building and people clearing rubble from damaged apartments.
This morning, Russian troops launched an attack on the city of Sloviansk. There were 2 preliminary strikes on a residential high-rise building. All necessary services are currently working at the site, including an investigative team, police paramedics, patrol police paramedics, the state emergency service, and ambulances. According to preliminary information, there are dead and wounded as a result of these strikes, including children among the wounded.
In a major announcement, Ukrainian president said that a fresh round of talks mediated by Washington on ending the 4 years of war could take place in Switzerland or Turkey next week. Zelensky confirmed he had spoken with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who offered to host the talks in the country.
Ми очікуємо, що зустріч буде на наступному тижні. Це запропонувала американська сторона, але подивимось, що буде на Близькому Сході, якщо чесно. Де зустріч може бути в Швейцарії або в Туреччині.
Turkey's president stressed that the war in West Asia must not obstruct peace efforts for Ukraine, reaffirming Turkey's role as a mediator. Erdogan expressed readiness to facilitate negotiations in a trilateral format with the United States, Russia, and Ukraine. Highlighting escalating tensions in the Black Sea, where both Russia and Ukraine have attacked commercial ships, Erdogan emphasized that navigation safety is of utmost importance to Turkey and called for a ceasefire to protect energy and port infrastructure.
When we return, your weather update and more. Stay tuned.
In our lives, there are moments that need to be remembered. Are you hosting a Ramayana Yagya, religious or cultural event or celebration? Would you like to have it aired live on IETV or recorded for playback later? We will air your program on IETV and IE Radio, with your viewers joining locally and internationally. Your family and friends worldwide can view on www.ietvtt.com or listen on ieradiott.com. To make arrangements, call or WhatsApp IETV at 784-9880. Let us record your cherished moments and share it.
Welcome back to IETV's Major News. Let's take a look at today's weather forecast.
In today's weather update, Thursday, March 12th, was mostly cloudy across Trinidad and Tobago, with a few sunny intervals developing during the morning and early afternoon. Brief scattered showers were observed in some areas, particularly during the afternoon hours. Temperatures reached a high near 24 degrees Celsius, while overnight lows hovered around 19 degrees. Winds were generally light to moderate, coming from the east to northeast at 15 to 25 kilometers per hour, occasionally stronger along coastal areas. Sea conditions remain slight to moderate, with waves ranging between 1.0 and 2.0 meters in open waters. Tonight, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy conditions were expected, with a few isolated showers developing overnight. Temperatures were forecast to dip to around 19 degrees Celsius. Winds were expected to remain light to moderate from the east-northeast, while sea conditions were anticipated to remain slight to moderate, with waves between 1.0 and 2.0 meters. Tomorrow is expected to bring mostly cloudy skies, with occasional sunshine along with a brief shower or two during the afternoon in some areas. Daytime temperatures are forecast to reach about 24 degrees, while nighttime temperatures should fall to around 19. Winds will remain light to moderate from the east-northeast at 15 to 25 kilometers per hour, with slight stronger gusts in exposed areas. Seas are expected to remain slight to moderate, with waves up to 2.0 meters in open waters.
Let's take a look at some crime news. An anti-crime exercise conducted in the Western Division and Port of Spain Division resulted in the seizure of 3 firearms and a quantity of ammunition on Monday, 9th of March. During the exercise conducted between the hours of 7 p.m. and 11 p.m., officers conducted a search under a bridge over the Maraval River and discovered and seized the following items: 1 Glock 17 pistol fitted with an extended magazine containing 28 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 1 Taurus G2C pistol fitted with an extended magazine containing 12 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and 1 Petro Beretta pistol loaded with 28 rounds of 9mm ammunition. Officers also seized 4 rounds of .45 ammunition, 6 rounds of 5.56 ammunition, and 70 additional rounds of 9mm ammunition. In a separate incident, officers of the Port of Spain Gang Intelligence Unit in the Port of Spain Task Force conducted an anti-crime exercise dubbed Operation Steadfast. Around 11:30 a.m., PC Lewis, acting on information received, proceeded to an abandoned structure in the Lodge Place area, where officers discovered a brown bag wrapped with a clear plastic inside a room on the eastern side of the building. Further checks revealed 60 rounds of 7.62 ammunition. Western Division exercise was sanctioned by Senior Superintendent Williams and spearheaded by Acting Superintendent Mohammed. Recapping the headlines, Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessar returns to Trinidad and Tobago following Shields of the Americas Summit. For now, on behalf of our entire news team, I'm Kevin Maharaj. Thank you for joining us.